Hello, everyone. I'm Peaceful Nick, the medium. I'm an evidential medium specializing in helping people heal from the loss of their loved ones, as well as teaching others to help people heal from the loss of their loved ones. I have lots of stuff going on. I am so busy, I can't even see straight. I have my podcast coming out this Friday with the wonderful can astrologer tarot, Abby. She is incredible. You guys are going to love the podcast. It's found on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all the places that you would find a podcast. I also have my new beginners 6-month mentorship starting this Saturday at 6 p.m. If you would like to join that, say hello when you're popping in. I love to see who's popping in to say hi. How's the weather where you are and where are you? Let me know. I am starting live morning meditations next week. Monday morning, that's the plan, about 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to be teaching people who don't know how to meditate, because it's not always about perfect, beautiful Zen poses in a perfectly clear mind. That is not what meditation is about. Hello, Elise, Maureen. It is so wonderful to see you here. And hello, Kimberly. Weather is gross for Elise, sticky with fake thunderstorms coming. Yeah, we've been it's hot. It was 99 or 100 today where I am in Central Florida. And it's been fake thunderstorms here too. Hi, Diana. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Lori. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So I've got the Soul Twin Stars podcast with the Can Astrologer coming out Friday. You'll see it all over my socials and everywhere. It's a wonderful conversation we had about tarot, astrology, and plant medicine with the wonderful Abby Wright, a Can Astrologer. My meditation starts Monday and my new class starts Saturday. Unfortunately for my clients, but fortunately for me, I am booked out with one-on-one readings until the end of July. So feel free to book if you want, but it's going to be a while before I get to meet you. Let's see. Wiki, hi, Wiki. How are you? Nice to see you here. I will be on again with Linda G in July. I don't have the date written down nearby, but I will be on live with her again. And tonight, I want to talk about trusting your spirit team. So this is something that I didn't believe was real. So for those of you who are watching the replay or watching live and you're new to Peaceful Nick, I was not a medium my whole life. I've only been a medium for about 6 years. I was, and still am, a science communicator and educator. And so I didn't think spirit teams were real. I didn't think spirit guides were real. You can see how the Florida weather is making my curls do whatever they want. So don't mind me trying to rein them in as we talk. So I didn't believe spirit guides were real. I didn't believe the spirit teams were real. I thought it was all a bunch of BS, if you ask me. Hi, Peace on Earth. Hello and welcome. I'd love to see all these new faces here. So I'm going to tell this story quickly because I've told it many times about how I found my spirit guide. And then I want to talk about trusting your spirit team. So for anybody new to me or watching the replay, go to my website and get your free guide to finding your spirit guide. It's totally free. It comes straight to your inbox. You just put your email address in, and you can use a fake one if you want, if you don't want anybody to know. I'm not going to tell anybody, but it also has links to some videos on my YouTube channel helping you find your spirit guide. Now, it is a very personal experience, so you kind of have to find your own way. So I was taking my first mediumship mentorship class, and my mentor said, okay, everybody, you have to find your spirit guide. And she walked us through a spirit guide lesson. And you also have to ask them for a sign. And I'm like, okay. My attitude was like, this is the biggest crap ever, but I'll try it. Because remember, I wasn't a medium, I was a science person, and I thought a bunch of this was crap, essentially. So I said, all right, I'll do the exercise. I'm a good student. I'll do the exercise. So I asked my spirit guide for a snow globe. It was in March. And so, really, there shouldn't be any snow globes out anywhere in March, right? It's not Christmas. So I asked for a snow globe, did my little exercise and asked for a snow globe. So later that day, I am scrolling on Instagram and I see an advertisement for a psychic with a snow globe. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to make me think that's a coincidence. So later I saw the same ad and I'm like, okay. Now, I'd never seen that ad before and I'd never seen that ad since, by the way. Couldn't even tell you who it was for. I just know it was a psychic. So I'm like, okay, that was a Saturday. Then the next day was Sunday and my husband loves golf. So I went with him to this golf shop. Now, I have no interest in golf whatsoever. Hi, Mona. I'm glad you're here. So we go to the golf shop, and on the counter of the golf shop is, remember it's March, is a golf snow globe. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. This is getting really interesting. So on Monday, I go to work, and I hadn't been at this place for very long. And there was this office where this lady had worked for 39 years. And she had just had this office rebuilt. And they put these shelves up on the left. I hadn't been in there before. Okay. It's my first time in this office. And I turn to the left, and there are rows and rows of shelves with hundreds of snow globes that she had been collecting the whole time from students that she had worked there. And I'm like, oh my God, that is insane. So after that, I'm like, okay, so my spirit guide's real. My spirit guide's real. And so ever since then, I have, I talk to my spirit guide every day, ask for guidance. I am developing a spirit team. I have loved ones in spirit who are helper guides that I depend on and call on before readings. Hi, Manx girl. Hi, Lauren. I don't know if I said hi or not to Lauren, but I just want to say hi to everybody. Let me know where you're all coming in from, tuning in from. So I have since developed a relationship with my main guide's name is George. And I get a lot of people who say, how do you know their names? I forgot my guide. I have a student who's like, I forgot my guide's name, and it's okay because guides live in the spirit world. So they don't have English American names, right? They don't really have names. Everything in spirit is energy. So it's all about communicating with energy. It's all telepathy or telepathic communication. So there's no names per se. It's like an energetic imprint, like a fingerprint, where you recognize everybody. Okay, Lauren's in Texas. Wiki's the PNW, Pacific Northwest. Is that what that is? Love it up there. And Kimberly's in Sarasota. Oh, you're not far from me, Kimberly. I'm Central Florida, right smack dab in the middle. So our guides don't have regular English names or any other human language. They have energetic imprints. And so they're always there. So a guide is like your best friend who doesn't judge you and will never betray you. So your guides are there, and you can have helper guides who are people you knew in this life who have passed away. Peace on Earth's in Central California. Vivian's in SF Bay Area. I just moved from the Bay Area. I grew up in San Francisco proper in the Sunset District. And then I moved back and forth across the country, and just moved from the Bay Area about 18 months ago. And I miss it very much. Very, very, very much. Hi, Abby. Hi, Yanni from Connecticut. Hi, Giselle, New Brunswick, Canada. Hello, hello, and welcome, everybody. So, spirit guides are people you didn't know in this lifetime, but could be people you knew in a previous lifetime. Helper guides are people you knew in this lifetime. So they're in spirit now, and then they can help you. For example, my mom is a helper guide to me. I have a former student who passed at his own hands, who I now see in my mind's eye when I have a client coming up who has a loved one in spirit who passed that way. I have another client who passed away recently, and she shows up when I need to talk about certain things that I knew about her and her loved ones in spirit. So helper guides are really important because a medium can get information in their database from their helper guides because that's their life experience they shared with the person that lived here on earth with them. Let's see. Wiki lived in South Bay for 5 years in the 80s. Oh, the 80s and 90s were the best over there. Abby, no storms in North Carolina. Manx is North Dakota. Yanni's been working with a pendulum, and apparently grandma is helping me. So yeah, she can be a helper guide for sure. Can our spirit guides or relatives who passed on hear our thoughts? Yes. My aunt just passed last Friday. Kimmy's in New Hampshire. So I want to talk about this question, Vivian. So our guides can hear what we're talking about. If we're projecting thoughts to them, they can hear it. Now, they're not just going to listen in like the CIA, right? They don't really care what our random thoughts are. But if you are putting out the energy of something like interesting to them or about a family member they're interested in, they're going to pick up on that signal. I always describe it as we have antenna and we put out a radio signal to the spirit world. And when they want to pick up on it, they can sense. It's like tuning into a radio. Back in the day, remember the old days, you had to like tune the radio in the car. Or at home, the little radio dial, they tune in to that frequency. So they're listening for this certain subject that you're going to think about or something happening with this person. So they're tuning in, and they always make my nose itch. So that means they're listening to me and they're coming closer. And even though it has been very recently, Vivian, that your aunt passed, she can hear you. You can sense her. She can give you information. You may hear some mediums say, wait 3 to 6 months after someone passes to get a reading. That is only for the human. That is not for the spirit. Spirits can communicate immediately and sometimes even before their passing. I've communicated with people who are living several times in readings for a variety of different reasons. Usually it's dementia or they're near death because your soul kind of comes and goes during that time. But the waiting period is for the human. So let's say someone lost a loved one very, very close to them and they're in mourning. It can be, psychologically damaging if you get a reading too soon, if you're in deep mourning. So the waiting period is kind of for the human, not for the spirit. And the other part of that is if you ever hear a medium or a psychic or anybody in any healing modality say, your loved one in spirit is stuck. That is not true. Spirits cannot get stuck. They are not stuck. They are never stuck. They can never be stuck. No, 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 no. No, no, no spirit gets stuck. Souls are made of energy more powerful than humans can ever imagine. And there is no way we could do anything to stick them here or make them stuck to us. None of that is true. So don't ever believe that. So your aunt is safe and at peace. If you're thinking about her, talking about her, sending her information, yes, she can hear your thoughts. But as far as like the day-to-day grind and personal stuff, they're not interested in that necessarily. I get a lot of questions. Can my loved ones in spirit see everything I do, like private time? And they're not really worried about that. Yanni said, actually, that's happened to me only while connecting, though. I won't ask the question out loud, but they will answer me. Sometimes I can hear them before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is because it's going to make me cry. Our soul is non-local to our body. Our soul temporarily inhabits our body while our body is alive. Our soul can communicate with any other soul in spirit at any time. So as soon as you're thinking something and you want an answer from your guides or your loved ones in spirit, you don't even have to finish the thought. They already are tuned into your frequency and they can answer you immediately, immediately, right? Because in spirit, there's no time. And physicists even agree with this. So I do talk a lot about science backing up mediumship. It's one of my main goals in life. So there is no time in spirit. So they know before you even finish that thought what it's going to be, because there's no linear time there. All time is happening simultaneously in spirit. So they know before you finish the thought, and so they can answer you. So yes, great point. Thank you for bringing that up. And Peace on Earth says, did a 9-day exercise to elevate my guides. Basically, I lit big white candles for 9 days to connect. Right after the 9-day exercise, a pair of doves moved onto my porch. Yeah, that's interesting you say that. My mom, who passed in 1986, sends me doves. So I love that you brought the doves up. And guides are so important. They're so important. They're so much like best friends that you never have to worry about betraying you or stabbing you in the back or judging you or caring what you wear or what kind of car or house you have. They're always there. It's pure love. Absolutely unconditional, pure love. Let's see. Kimmy, can I speak to my LO loved ones all the time? Partner who passed very strong, asked for 2 specific songs recently and got them, but still question, was that him? 95% trust, 5% skeptic. He's in my soul circle. Kimmy, I get that. Listen, I'll do a reading and I'll get evidence that's so crazy and so unbelievable. And after the reading, I'll be like, how did I know that? How did I know that thing about that person? Like the other day, I was giving a reading and I do a meditation before every reading, and I'm talking to my guides, bring through loved ones in spirit, and I write little things down and I draw little pictures on my notepad. And one of the things I wrote was stars and stripes. And it was for the client's deceased grandfather. And he had been a writer for the paper Stars and Stripes. Well, I had never heard of that. This man passed and lived long ago. I didn't know what that was. But there's no way I would have known that otherwise. I couldn't have found that out in any other way except that spirit gave me that information. But I still have a little skepticism about my own stuff because I have that scientific background, so I get it. And we should always have a little skepticism. Skepticism is good and healthy as long as it's not skepticism just to be a skeptic, as long as it's not skepticism just to be disagreeable. Skepticism is good. It has a purpose. It is important, but it shouldn't just be to be adversarial or disagreeable. There should be a reason for the skepticism. So thank you for bringing that up, Kimmy. Vivian says, thank you. I always thought the spirit guide is listening since I get the solution to difficult problems after waking up from sleep. Yes, 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 yes. Vivian, I love that you said that. When we are in a restful state, our brain waves change and shift. You can Google this. This is scientifically true. Our brain waves shift to different, alpha, gamma, delta waves. When I believe it's alpha, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, somebody can Google it. When we're in the alpha brainwave state, our brain is ready to receive information from spirit or psychic information or telepathic information. So many times I hear people talk to me about, I was falling asleep and this happened, or I woke up and this happened. I got information. My first true mediumship experience happened when I laid down to take a nap. And it had never happened to me before that. And that's another story for another day. But falling asleep or waking up, being in that restful state, very common. Yes, yes, yes. The doves had eggs and everything. I saw the tiny doves leave on the birthday of my deceased bulldog. Oh, the doves are still here laying more eggs. I tried to scare them so they would not. Scared them so they would not leave. Oh, that's wonderful. How awesome. Kimberly, can our guides help us heal? Yes. So that's the whole point of tonight's talk. Trust your spirit team. Trust your spirit team. They can help you through anything. Imagine a group of best friends that don't judge you, that will never harm you, that will never lie to you, that will never stab you in the back. They want to lift you up always. They want to lift you up emotionally. So absolutely, absolutely, your guides can help you heal in so many ways. They can guide you to a therapist that can help you heal. They can guide you to a self-help book that can help you heal. They can guide you to this, YouTube channel to help you heal, or a medium, or whatever, or, if you're into church and you find a church you like, maybe they'll guide you to that place. I'm not recommending any of those things. I'm just saying your guides will show you where to go. They're always talking to us. We just have to pay attention and pick up on it. They're always talking to us. They're always showing us signs. Let's say you walk into the bookstore, okay? And you go to the self-help section and you're like, I just don't feel like reading a book, but I'm in so much pain and blah, blah, blah. And you're just going through this whole thing in your head. And then the bookshelf has all these books, and one of the books is pulled out just a little bit, and you notice it. And you say, I'm going to pick that book up. And then you open the book and you open the cover, and there's like a quote or something, and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. That is your guide saying, look, pay attention. There's help for you here. That's one example. Now, you have to do the work and allow yourself to heal. You have to do the work and allow yourself to receive healing, and allow yourself to dig deep and pull out that pain and face it, and move through it. It's not like they're just going to magically sprinkle fairy dust on you and you're going to be healed. Wouldn't that be great? But you have to do the work and be willing to feel it, face it, move through it. It's healing is painful. That's why so many people move into so many kinds of addictions, whether it's drugs, alcohol, shopping, gambling, eating disorders. All those things are all failure to face and move through the pain. It's not a failure on the person. It's fear. People don't want to feel pain because it hurts. So they mask it with other things. And guides can absolutely help. Giselle said, my mother now passed. We were not close, and I do not trust to have her communicate with me. I block any thoughts of her. That is a human sensation. That is a human thought. Now, I'll just tell a little personal story about me. Okay. My mother died in 1986 at my feet suddenly when I was 15 years old. It was completely unexpected. Now, she was not Mother of the Year. She was an alcoholic. She was very dysfunctional. She was emotionally abusive to only some of the siblings in the family. There were 5 biological siblings between my mom and my biological mom and dad. And she was messed up. She had a very messed up childhood. Her dad died when she was 4 years old. Suddenly, had a bad stepfather that was incredibly abusive. And when my mom died, I knew immediately, and I was a kid. I wasn't a medium. That wasn't even on my, I don't even think I knew what that was. But I always felt her with me. Always felt her with me this whole time. And she did things that we used to get in really big fights. We argued probably one of the last times we spoke to each other was an argument. Because she chose addiction over taking care of her children. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times. And so I was embarrassed by her. And it brought, a lot of criticism from other people on us kids because of her behavior. And so being mad at her human is very different from accepting her soul as pure. The soul of my mother, I chose to come into this life. We have like an outline of what we want to experience. I chose her as my mother before I was born to her. I chose the challenges I would go through in my life. Now, caveat to that is some people have free will and do very horrific things. We don't really choose to that degree, but we do choose some of the challenges we're going to go through. Other people overdo their bad stuff. So if you had a parent that was abusive, physically, emotionally, sexually, any of those things, it's understandable that you don't want to communicate with her. I highly recommend you work on healing that for you. Forgiveness and healing is for you, not for her. She is passed away. She is in spirit. She doesn't feel the things you feel as far as bitterness, anger, resentment, pain. She's aware of it. She's aware of how she made you feel. And also something I learned recently in a reading from a spirit is that when your mother had her life review, she not only felt the pain she caused you and everyone else directly, she felt the pain she caused you and any pain you caused others because of the pain she caused you. So, for example, if she was abusive to you and you in turn, knowingly or not, were abusive to someone else, emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, she felt that pain that she caused you and everyone else that you affected. So it's a ripple effect. So in a life review, they feel it. They feel everything they felt that they made anybody else feel, if that makes sense. You don't have to communicate with her, but I highly recommend getting some type of healing through therapy, self-help books, coaching, something. because if you don't face it and move through it, it's going to manifest in another way in your life. It's impossible not to manifest in another way. Everything manifests somewhere. It's like having a sore on your arm, and instead of cleaning the wound, just putting a bandage on it, what's going to happen? It's going to fester, right? And the same thing happens to us emotionally. So Giselle, I wish you all the peace and love. And I hope that you can heal. It'll manifest in some way. Thank you for your comment. It's very important, that comment. Lori, hi Lori. Can you elaborate more about dream visitation? Because I've tried for years to have them, and I've been struggling with the fact that I've had some but can't remember it. So we can't really control our dreams, right? So I can't give you a magic cure to remember them. I'm in my mid-50s, and so I'm lucky to remember why I walk in the kitchen. But a dream visitation usually lingers. So if it's a true visitation, you should remember it. It will linger because it's different than a dream. So be aware that if you are having dream visits, you should remember them. You should. That's one of the key signs to know it's a visitation. It lingers and it feels real, like a real event. Just like you go out to lunch with somebody and you come home, you remember, oh, I just went out to lunch with so-and-so and what a good time we had. Same kind of thing like that. You can bring the person to mind at night. You can ask your guides before you go to bed and say, okay, my guide for me is George. George, can you please bring a visitation dream of my mother? And you can ask that, several nights in a row. And I can't guarantee that it'll happen, but most people I talk to, and that when they ask, it eventually will happen after, a few days, maybe a couple weeks. That's what I would recommend. A visitation dream is different because it lingers. It feels like a real sequential event that actually happened, and you feel like you are really there. It makes sense. It's a sequence of events. Dreams, when it's just a flash of somebody, I wouldn't say that's always a visitation. That could just be your subconscious mind. I hope that helps. Yeah, Yanni said, I have a lot of questions on here I didn't get to. My brother-in-law passed and months later appeared on my bed and I freaked out. Very common. Hold on, let me get a halls here. I had readings and meetings all day long, so I'm a little parched. Very common for people to see their loved ones sitting on their bed, at the end of the bed standing. Again, that's because we are in that restful sleep state in our mind. Our mind goes to that place where the brain wave state where we allow for visitations to occur. I have a sister who is, as far as I know, not spiritual at all. And she has seen my mom standing at the foot of her bed, fully formed. So it's very common. Take some deep breaths. If it scares you, ask them not to show themselves that way anymore. Because I don't want to see, I have seen fully formed people in my home before I was a medium. When I became a medium, I asked, please, I don't want to see that. It'll scare me. I have a past of trauma, as I explained, with my mother and other things that happened in my life. So you can imagine having a ghost standing in my bedroom at night would really freak me out badly. So you can ask them to step back. You don't have to experience that. And your guides will usually help with that. And spirits will usually listen. If you say it scares me, please don't do that. They usually listen. Hi, Marby. Hi, Karina. I've been trying to reach you. I think I have a fake website instead. I haven't heard from you in a while. Um, there are a bunch of fake Facebook pages of me. And it wouldn't surprise me if somebody faked a website. It wouldn't. Karina, email me. It's peacefulnickthemedium@gmail.com. And if you could screenshot and send it to me or send me a Facebook message, since you're on Facebook, send me a screenshot on Facebook. Lots of fakes. I'm glad you're here. So be careful. Be careful. I never ever message anyone for a reading. I never ever send a private message. I'll never comment on anything for a free reading or give me a reading. Or the fake people friend request my personal page and send me messages, even though my personal page says CEO Peaceful Nick the Medium LLC. On my personal page, they still fake friend request me. So message me on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere, or email me. And all you can do is report them and block them. And I've reported several on Facebook and I never, ever get a response. Never. And they don't take them down. Kimmy Cat. Took me going through loss and grief to fully understand and develop my own abilities the last 2 years. I would like to develop beyond the 101s. Got to get on track to go further with my life first. Yes, yes, yes. If there's anything I can help you with as far as development, let me know. If you've already had a beginner's class, you don't need a beginner's class. I do one-on-one classes if you want to just have a one-on-one. I also do intermediate and advanced classes as well. Hi, Cosmic. How are you? Oh, Manx Girl, that is so funny. Oh my God. Where's my note? Where'd I put it? You are not going to believe this. Oh no, where'd I put my note? Oh, I must have left it downstairs. Darn it. Okay, so I want a crow so bad. Oh, I cannot believe my note is not up here. Darn it. So I'm going to make a crow painting. I'm going to make a series of paintings for Halloween. I'm going to start them in the next couple of weeks. Based on these crows. I am so obsessing over crows. I want one so bad. And my youngest son, he's an adult, but he he keeps telling me I'm going through a phase with my mediumship stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna bring home a crow. You watch. And his fiance, she goes, it's a whole vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. And I'm like, yes, it's a vibe. So I love that you connect with crows. And it's so funny because my husband is very different from me. He's very sporty. He's very athletic. He's very into that kind of stuff. But he is so supportive of me and my mediumship journey. And we were getting in the car the other day, and there was a telephone pole, and there was a crow right over where our car was parked. And he goes, Nick, there's your crow. There's your crow. It was so cute. I'm like, come on, come land on my hand. That is awesome. I love that. I love that so, so much. Yeah, I wouldn't put a crow in a cage. I don't really believe in that, like trapping them, but I love that I see them all the time and they come near me, and I can't wait to start painting these paintings. I'm so excited. You're welcome, Kimberly. Karina, everything you told me in that card reading, it happened. I am amazed. Yay, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that. For those of you who don't know, I don't only do mediumship readings, I do oracle and tarot card readings. If you're interested, they're all on my website. So that's awesome, Karina. Awesome. I'm glad. Cards blow me away because I didn't even believe in spirit guides, and now I'm pulling cards and they're so accurate, so accurate. Oh, thank you, Abby. Thank you for putting that in there. Kimmy, do you do a more advanced class as a mentor? Yes. Yes, 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 I do. Right now, I have a couple of classes coming to the end. So if you want to be in a group, it might be 1 or 2 months before the advanced class starts. I have to look at my calendar. But if you want to do one-on-one mentoring, I do that as well. So that's on my website already. You can, I think it only books for Thursdays or something. I have to check if I opened any dates on that. I've been so busy. But if you book it for a Thursday and you can't do it on Thursday, we can do it on another night. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So let's look. Told that old souls have many challenges in human form. So according to the lore of mediumship, psychic, etc., it doesn't necessarily mean the souls have many challenges in human form. Sometimes it means that, but it can also mean somebody had like 1,000 lives that had many challenges, or maybe they had 3 lives that had horrendous challenges. So I think it just depends. They've obviously had a lot of challenges. That's why they became a more mature soul. Yes, mostly, yes. Oh, thank you, Abby. Podcast, YouTube, Patreon, check it out. Yeah, I'm trying to do all different things, as many things as possible, to reach as many people to help healing. Thank you so much, Abby. That is what I was writing for you before Nick spoke. Spirits gain wisdom and insights from the lives they've lived. She can no longer cause pain. Yes, exactly. And a spirit would never cause anyone pain. So if anybody's telling you you have an evil spirit, a spirit, blah, 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 no. Spirits are not evil. Hi, Jill. Wiki also had an alcoholic parent. I've forgiven my dad. He was on his path, and I have learned lessons through his struggles. Yes. And see, this is when we develop certain awarenesses in our life, we understand that every person, our parents, had parents. Okay. I met my mom's mom and stepdad, and I knew my dad's parents. Like, I knew both sets of grandparents when I was younger. And oh my God, no wonder why my mom was an alcoholic. Plus, she was married to my dad, who was also an alcoholic. He's in recovery and has been for like 40 years, 35 years, something like that. But I understand why they were both addicts, because their parents were messed up. And so forgiveness is for us. Healing is for us. The spirit, the people, the souls in the spirit world, they don't really need forgiveness. They do come with a lot of apologies, though, in readings. Yeah, Lori, if you had just little blurbs, it's probably not a full visitation, like a fully visitation visit dream visit. I'm getting tired. Yeah, Lauren said, that's been my experience with the visits. Years later, I still have total recall of the visits. Yeah, that happens to me when my mom comes in my dreams. I remember them. We're always standing in the kitchen talking. Jill said, I had one with my husband. He was in a black and white picture. My body was shaking. Oh. Giselle, I see that you are sincere and I trust your advice. Thank you very much. I try to be. I try. Sandy said, if the dream leaves you with any negative thoughts or feelings, it's not a visit, it's your subconscious creating that dream. 100 million %. Yes, yes, yes. Anything negative in what we think is a spiritual experience or a dream visit or a reading is not from spirit. Now, A negative memory may come through from spirit that says, when your puppy got ran over by a car, I remember seeing that happen. Now, that is for healing to occur. It's not saying your puppy's the devil and you had a devil puppy. See the difference? Spirits are not negative, and they're not going to bring through negative things. Our subconscious mind is messed up because we've had a lot of human crap happen. Oh, cosmic. Do our spirit guides judge us or vent anger towards us? No. No, no, never, no, absolutely no. No. No, no, no. I can't say enough no's to that. Guides will never judge us. They will never harm us. They will never give us any negative information. If anything like that happens, you're talking to a bad medium, a bad psychic, or your own negative subconscious mind. Never, ever, ever. They are absolutely pure love, period. Jill, can you ask them to come forward? Yes, you can. Yanthy, hi, thank you, honey. I always get it wrong. I always get it wrong. Hi, from Canada. Hi, Carol. I've been thinking about you all day. What is going on over there? Did the baby come? I've been thinking about you, like, where is Carol? Where is Carol? It's so weird that I've been thinking about you today. And here you are, finally. Jane, hello. Wiki said crows are all over the place where I live. Lots of crow stuff. A murder of crows. Yep, that's what it's called. Karina, when will you be doing card readings? Well, I'm not going to be doing any tonight. But, oh, that's awesome. Because I've been doing this whole Mars project I'm working on for 6 weeks this summer. I do an international competition, and then I had readings today also. So I'm not going to do any card readings tonight. But next week, my Mars competition is kind of slowed down a little because they have to work on their own. So maybe I'll do some next week. Remember the day the card flew out about me receiving? Well, it happened. Congratulations to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations, Karina. Manx Girl, I believe they help guide me. I have ancestry from the Isle of Man. And one bird on the crust is a raven, which I'm Norse. And yeah, the ravens and crows are very closely related. Yes, yes, yes. Cindy, does one have to have the gift to read cards? Well, technically anybody can read cards, but my recommendation is have a connection with spirit in some way, a positive connection with spirit. Have a positive intention before you read cards. Don't just do it for the money. Read them because you really want to help people in their life and help heal and help propel their life forward in the best way. And I would say get some training before you do it. There's tons of legitimate readers who do training. There's tons of online videos, but it's really important to have a positive intention and have a connection to spirit. I don't think you have to be a psychic or a medium, but you should have intuitive skills to do it. Intention, 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 connection to spirit. Maybe develop a relationship with your guides as well. Let's see. Hi, Julie. Oh, thank you, Jill. That is so sweet. Yeah, Kimmy, it's a hard road and we signed up. We are in some crazy times. You're welcome, Cosmic. Great question. How do you get the name of your spirit guide, or can you just make up a name? This is a perfect question for tonight. So Again, if you just joined and you weren't here earlier, our spirit guides don't have English American names if we're English or American and speak English. Or if you're in Canada and you speak English or French, or if you're in Germany and you speak German, or you're in China and you speak Mandarin. Spirits don't speak the language we speak. They speak energy, right? If they lived in America when they were alive, they probably speak English. If they lived in Germany, they probably spoke German. If they lived in China, they probably spoke Mandarin. Or they lived in all of those places and spoke all of those languages. But let's say your spirit guide's from China and speaks Mandarin. For some reason, that's your guide, right? They're not going to give you a Mandarin name because you speak English and you're not going to understand it unless you do speak Mandarin. They're just going to give you a name you can recognize easily. My main guide's name is George. It just popped in when I went through the process of finding my guide. Boom, there he was right in the front. I could see exactly what he looked like, what he was wearing, and he said his name was George. That's my main guide. I have other guides. You can just make up a name because it doesn't matter what you call them as long as that name is associated with that energy. So as long as if you want to call them Betty Lou, call your guide Betty Lou. You say, I'm going to call you Betty Lou. And Betty Lou knows when you say that, you're calling for her. Guides also don't have to be in human form. They can be an animal. They can be a rock. My friend Kathy, who you've all probably seen me live with, and we do the spirit exchange together, she has a blue orb for a guide. So your guides don't have to be in human form. So be prepared for that. Go on my website and get the free guide to finding your spirit guide. And that will help walk you through. And there's some video links in there. Some of the videos are a little older. So, yeah, Manx girl. Yes. Carol said, no baby yet. Yes, we had a procedure to turn baby. Didn't work. So now scheduled C-section. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've had you on my mind, Carol, all day. Jill said, okay. Kimmy says, I have SG Jacinto and Abriel so far during Grief Ancestor Indigenous Other just recently after watching one of your lives. Oh, that's wonderful. Jill, sassy Cindy. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. Okay, everyone, thank you for being here. Listen to the Soul Twin Stars podcast on Friday, 6 a.m. We are talking to the Can astrologer, Abby. We're talking about tarot, astrology, and plant medicine. That's Friday. My new class, my beginner's mentorship, starts Saturday. I will be live Monday morning doing meditation for people who can't meditate. So thank you guys for being here. Have a wonderful evening and wonderful rest of your week. Find me on all my socials and I will see you again soon. Have a good night. Bye.